Hello, everyone.
Jumbo.
Welcome back to another episode of Insert Subject Here. I'm Makia.
I'm your boy, Ant.
And thank you for stopping by to talk some ish with us. So today, if you might notice, I've got on my Disney ears. So we're going to dive into our recent Disney trip on this week's episode of Insert Subject Here.
Yeah.
So how are you doing this week, Anthony?
I'm on the moon.
Can you tell me why?
Because the Baltimore Ravens are 2-1. And Tucker made history with a 66-yard field goal. And we the truth. Hiya! Ka-chow!
Ka-chow. I don't know how to follow that, but housekeeping. Have you subscribed to this page yet? Have you liked this video? Because this is a great time to do so. And have you kept that conversation going in the comment section below? If you have not, this is your great opportunity to do so.
Great opportunity for you to do so.
Your boy, Kels.
And your boy, Kel.
I did not think he was going down, but it looks like he's going down.
R. Kelly is guilty. That's what the... You see that?
I see what you did there.
That's the court say it.
That's what the court said. Okay, so for those that feel like justice was served, cheers to you.
And for those who don't, I'm curious to know why. Like it said racketeering. He was... I don't know the charges, to be completely transparent. So I don't know what he was facing. I don't know what charges I was thinking it was more sexual charges, but it wasn't. It was like racketeering
and it was supposed to be something like doing an orchestrating, transporting minors across state line.
Puerto Rico.
So I'm gonna be honest,
Jesus.
Like you, I didn't really pay attention to the charges because I was like, he got off the first time, he'll get off again.
If you know, explain it to us because I'm curious.
Yeah, hit them comment section below.
Mm-hmm.
So we are fresh off of our Disney trip.
Fresh off.
And we traveled with a group of 13. And I am the group leader. Take me to your leader. I am the group leader and I organized everything that we did on this trip. Now, what we're going to do is break down this family trip in what we liked and what we didn't like. And this was our first time visiting Disney post the start of a pandemic.
Yes.
So there were a lot of changes.
Yes, it was.
And we usually go in May. So we usually go at the end of the year when we're taking the kids. But we like to go in the beginning of the year for the Food and Wine Festival, which we'll get to in a later episode because that's a whole episode.
Yeah, that's a whole nother situation by itself because we ate good.
Yes, we did. And so there were a lot of things that Disney is cutting out, like their Magical Express, which is what takes you from Orlando's airport to whatever Disney resort you're staying at.
For free. So they're getting rid of that. So this was our last time taking the Magical Express. Bittersweet because it's just like it's that fun. It gets you pumped up. And usually the bus drivers, now what I can say is the bus drivers are really, really nice. Usually. Yeah, usually, because I think you could tell it was coming to an end.
Yeah.
So one of the things that was key for me for the Magical Express was the fact that they used to pick up your luggage for you.
Yes.
So you didn't go to baggage claim. Disney pulled your bags off the luggage. I mean, hey, Tom. I said pulled your bag off the luggage. Disney used to pull your bags off the plane and just take them. Mm-hmm. So all you had to do was walk through the through the whole airport and find the Magical Express, get on and go to your resort, and you get straight to the fun. And this time we had to get our own luggage.
Yeah, and then they had to load your luggage on and unload your luggage, which kind of took away from the Disney magic to me because it was just like you had no worries as soon as you landed. You knew everything was taken care of and your bags would just miraculously appear in your room.
At some point. Because it was one time we got there and We got there at 10. Our bags didn't get to our room until midnight.
Right. And we got there at like 10 a.m.
And 10 a.m. Yeah. Yeah.
So this trip, we stayed at Disney's Coronado Springs Resort, which is my favorite resort. It has such an adult feel to it.
That resort, that's right.
It has not as many kids as you'll see at some of the other resorts. It's not really Disney themed, and as you can see from the video that's playing, they had like a little bit of Disney in the room because it's themed after like the Spanish culture and things like that.
Yeah.
So they had like nods to a ride that's in the Mexico Pavilion, but it's very, very, very just.
Which ride is that?
The Three Caballeros.
The Three Caballeros.
Okay. Yodos. Okay. And what I had to say is Disney did not disappoint. We landed at 8:30.
Yes.
And by the time
early flight.
And by the time we got to the resort, it was about 10:30. So we were like, hey, let's just see if our rooms are ready. And surprisingly, our rooms were. And part of the 13 was staying with us. So it was a group of 8 of us that was staying at this particular resort. And we were like 2 doors down from each other.
If that.
But they had us in the casita section. And as you can see, right out of our door, we had the fountain. We had the view of the Grand Destino Tower. Now, this resort just underwent some renovations within the past 2 years. And so in the middle is the Three Bridges bar, and there are bridges which connect you to different parts of the property. So we were able to get from our room to the food court and to all of the amenities, the pool, the restaurants, the bars, things like that, very, very easily. So kudos to you, Disney. This was by far the best room. And even at night, we got to see some of the fireworks that were at one of the parks. So I'm just like super pumped. And then they sprinkled extra Disney magic because as I was planning everything, I was like, hey, it's my husband's birthday. So they had a message that played on the TV to say, happy birthday, Anthony.
I felt like I was LeBron James in a bubble. It's fun fact for all male viewers. That was the exact resort the Lakers stayed at during the NBA bubble season. So all the pictures you'll see of LeBron at a bar, or that was the resort he was at. So I was real pumped when I found that out. I was like, oh, we here? I'm with LeBron. I'm with King James was.
LeBron James, LeBron James, LeBron James.
Yeah.
LeBron James, LeBron James.
And so we just kind of enjoyed the first day. I'm not going to get into that because we'll get into the food and stuff in another episode. But what I do want to point your attention to is the next day we were going to Hollywood Studios, and there was a brand new ride that had opened up, Rise of the Resistance, within the past year. Now, during this trip, they were using the boarding pass method. Currently, they are not. So I got up at 6:30 in the morning and tried to get boarding passes for the 13 of us. And boarding passes, they go within like minutes, sometimes seconds. So I was able to get us a boarding pass.
Shout out to the team leader.
Thank you.
You hear me?
Thank you.
Shout out to you. Kudos to you
Thank
for
you.
all that hard work. Continue. I'm sorry.
Now, we sent a message because we were conversating by group chat. So send a message to let everybody know we had it, and we all met in the park. Now, one thing that I can say about Disney is the theming. And as you see playing through the video is when they create a world, they immerse you into the world. If you're supposed to be in Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, which we don't even really know what that is, we just
because we don't know what Star Wars is all about.
I mean, all I know is Return of the Jedi. That is the only Star Wars.
I am your father. That's all I got.
And do my favorite one. That's all I know. and the one that the little R2D2 and all that. That's all I know. But what I can say is just I loved the theming of the world, and so we got on Smuggler's Run, which is one of their more popular rides. And then when I tell you, when it was finally time for our boarding group to be called, and I kept checking the app because they give you updates and say, this number has been called and this number. It's like jury duty.
Yes, it
is.
is.
This number has been called. And then it gives you an estimated number of minutes. And then once your boarding group is called, you had an hour to get there. They don't do this anymore.
Which is a tragedy, in my opinion, because it kept everything moving so well.
It did.
Like you could get the afternoon boarding pass if you, like we were there and we saw people just hanging out in the little corridor. And I was like, what they here for? And they were there waiting to see if they can get a boarding pass for the afternoon selection.
Right.
It just kept things moving so smoothly. And to take that away, I think it's going to create bigger lines, but that's neither here nor there.
I agree, because the wait times were down. It was just that we walked on pretty much everything. And so then when it was time for us to go back, we all had to scan our magic band to get onto the ride. They made sure all 13 of us were accounted for. And this was the first time that the ride experience started in the line queue. And the line queue is just like what you're waiting in when you're moving and going onto the ride. And if you remember years ago, like rides like at Six Flags or Kings Dominion, it would say you got a 60-minute wait from this point. You got a 30-minute. So that's pretty much the ride queue, but they have different things to keep you entertained. And the ride started in the queue. Like we did little mini rides and little entertainments and shows, as some of those are playing right now. And our daughter, she got to actually open up the ship.
Well, he called it starting the ship.
Starting the ship, yes. I'm not going to spoil the experience for you. I'm just going to show you some photos and video just to let you know. They really went all out for this particular ride. I highly recommend, if you are in Disney and you are playing Disney, Hollywood Studios is now my favorite park.
Yes, mine as well.
And so it's going to be very interesting to see how they do the different rides at other parks, because what they introduced this time was a new ride technology where the ride was trackless.
It ain't no track, bro. So you can't guess where everything's going. You can't try to figure it out. Oh, it look like here's a dip coming. You don't even know where you about to go.
Yeah, and there was a part, because it was 13 of us, we were broken up into 2 different cars, and they swung over and went a completely different way than we went. And I was like, wait, where are the kids going? Because all the adults would have the kids would go. Highly recommend. And then there is another ride at Hollywood Studios, Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. They rethemed the Great Movie Ride, which I can see, because a lot of kids don't know about like Butch Cassidy and all that stuff. Because I used to ride the ride. I didn't know what was going on until we got to the alien
part. You get on here and you're going to fight some bad guy Shay. And I was like, what is this?
Like that I'm riding? The acting was atrocious on there, because they had cast members that would do different parts. And I'm just
get out of here, buddy. Pop, 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 with a cat. It was just, I'm glad it's over. I'm glad they shut that one down.
Yes, and they incorporated that same trackless ride vehicles into that ride as well. Loved it. Not going to spoil it and anything, but just let you know that these 2 rides, if this is a preview of anything to come at Disney,
it will justify the money, is all I'll say. Because I feel like if this is what you've unleashed on us now with these trackless rides that aren't quite the super duper thrilly type rides, I can't imagine what you're going to do when you take this to the next level.
Right.
Like I'm curious to see it. Yeah. I just hope I hope it lives up to the hype.
I agree.
Because that's a lot of money.
It is a lot of money.
Disney hitting pockets now. They ain't playing with y'all.
And just another little spoiler for the particular Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, you enter the ride and exit the ride through a broken cartoon, which, again, they're doing stuff in the ride queues to give you the backstory of the ride.
And our Nana was with us. And stuff like that really impresses her.
Yes.
And we're moving through to get into the line. She's still standing there like... like she's gonna figure out how they did this. Right. I was like, it's just come on, get on the ride, Nana.
Yes.
Let's just get on the ride. We'll figure it out later.
Right. And so then the next day we went to Magic Kingdom, which is the kids' favorite. By far, I think it's like...
It's not my favorite.
It's the kids' favorite. And of course, nothing would be complete unless there were an episode, and we got stuck on this ride called the People Mover.
We'll be for another 45, 55.
35, 45, 50.
Carburetor or the alternator, one of the two.
Now, we should have known when we were waiting 30 minutes to board it, and we were the next to get on. And then they just started calling all these people up. Like, it was like train conductor looking.
She's saying it so cool. They started, when you start seeing people like, so the People Mover, they have their uniforms and they're themed to Tomorrowland. But when you start seeing Reggie and his cap is backwards and he got on a whole different, completely different non-themed thing, you like, Houston, we have a problem. Right.
But can I tell you, it's the silliest ride, but it is one of my favorite rides. And so the whole group, they knew this was my sting. And so they all just waited. Everybody just waited. And then we got on, and as you can see, our vehicle stopped to the point where they had to cut the lights on because we got stuck at a dark spot. But Disney is all about the iconic castle. Yes. It's all about that entranceway down Main Street. And I have to say, even though this is no longer my favorite park, just when you come in, it just gives me so much happiness. Mm-hmm. And speaking of happiness, as you can see, our kids are fanning. Out because they saw Princess and character cavalcade, and our girls are just enamored with princesses. Have no idea why they're fanning out like this.
Listen, it was like cute, like it was like 60% cute, 40% embarrassing, because Kennedy started screaming to the top of her lungs, and it caught me off guard. I had to turn around like, what is going on? And it was Princess Tiana.
And they love Princess Tiana. Like, she said she's going to grow up, move to Disney, and become Princess Tiana.
I believe it. I believe it.
And I have to give a shout out to all 13, 12, because I was the 13th, of our group members, because they braved the lightning and thunderstorm so that I could watch the Happily Ever at Home.
We ain't no choice. I'm going to just put this out here. Don't call CPS. The kids were in good condition. We had zero choice because we were told this is what I'm here for, and I'm not leaving until I see it. So it rained on us. It was lightning. It was thunder. It was a couple times. Nobody flinched. Everybody stayed straight face. Everybody was a G.
So thank you guys. That is one of my favorite things at Magic Kingdom is the Happily Ever After. And it was the last time that they were going to do that show. So I had to see it.
But she legit saw it like 3-4 times before. Just FYI.
There are certain parts on you I've seen 3 or 4 times too. But I don't ever complain every time it come out again.
They shoot all made you look.
Moving on. And then as far as overall...
Go ahead, yo.
He just kept coming for me this episode. I had to get him back.
Go ahead, yo.
So as far as theming overall... Animal Kingdom. I love the theming at Animal Kingdom. The lush greenery and all of that. Everything is just so... I can smell it right now. Africa. So, you will get yourself together.
I'm not mature enough to move on this fast. Go ahead, yo.
And so, especially the Pandora theme of the park. Now, Pandora is our Nana. Like, that's her thing. She loves Pandora.
Nana looked me in my eyes. And so we do this thing. We keep checking in with people. We check in with the kids. We check in right around the party. Like, what you looking forward to today? And Nana was like, I'm just here. I'm here for love. It was like, Looking for a date? I don't even know what's going on right now. She was talking about Jake Sully.
Yes.
She was here for Jake Sully.
And especially at night, it is just so pretty and bright and beautiful and colorful. And the girl, oh, God, my hair, I'm going to play it right here.
Hey, son.
You gotta sing it.
My Ewa, my Ewa,
my Eva.
And then the rest of the day, we just going around singing that song. Just like going back
Like
to,
we made people in the park sing it with us because we just kept singing.
yes. And just like the Mickey and Minnie's Runaway, we're like, nothing can stop us now. I mean, it's so bad that our kids got cell phone covers from that ride. Yeah, and then the safari, like I just love the overall feeling of Animal Kingdom. And now, of course, wouldn't be us if there were not any hiccups. So one member of our party, every day there was another hiccup, including our arrival day. There were some issues with their room.
Yeah.
So finally, and then it started to be where tickets were missing, tickets were expired. So Disney gave us all fast passes for a Smuggler's Run ride in Hollywood Studios on our last day. We got the fast passes. And so we got to bypass the 80-minute wait that had accrued for this ride so that we can get on. And I got us another flight of passage, boarding pass.
2 times.
So now just going through all of that, I just want to reflect back on what I feel or how things have changed. Now, you had to wear your mask on when you were in any indoor rides and queues and restaurants. There was no social distancing though.
At all.
So I was very like, And I have to say, I am sad to report the Disney parks, Disney resorts did not have that magic.
At all.
It just felt like everybody just came back to work and they were like, okay, focus on safety. And that's it.
I don't even feel like it's safety at that juncture. I just felt like they said, here's a body and we need more bodies over here because this is where everybody is. Like everybody seemed so lost. And I'm not used to people at Disney. You got like Disney does training, customer service and training for everybody. So I'm not used to their staff being so lost. Like that really, it kind of took something away from me. And they also didn't have that. Nobody felt happy to be at work anymore. And that's what we've been going. We go, as y'all know, almost like every year, every other year. And we've never had like maybe the last trip was when we started seeing every now and then a person would just be kind of disgruntled or act like they don't want to be here. This trip was just completely different. And it takes away from me because of the amount of money you spend for the trip.
Yeah. And Disney is supposed to go out of their way to create a whole bubble that you're in and you feel like you're not any place in the United States or the world. It's just you're in your own little protected area where everything is just happy and the sun is always shining. Even when it's raining, it's supposed to still be this whole magical time. And like the food sucked. Like we came back home with so much money because we just did not want to eat at certain places like the quick service places, which have like burgers, hot dogs, chicken fingers.
You're not supposed to mess stuff like that up.
No. And it was to the point where it was.
It felt like it was stuff that they had left in the freezer. And they were just getting rid of it because most of the stuff it just didn't taste good.
Right.
It didn't have it wasn't fresh.
Right.
And it's not saying they gave us stale food. I'm not saying that, but it's been in the back of the freezer for a while and we're going to cook it before it go bad is what we got.
Yeah.
And I didn't appreciate that.
And typically we do the dining plan where we have a quick service meal, which will be like a pizza, hot dog, burger, tacos. And they have like it's just not just hamburgers and chicken sandwiches and stuff, but you can get a plethora of things, ribs, a whole bunch of stuff. And then we'll have a sit down meal where you have your meal, your beverage, and then you have 2 snacks a day and the snacks can be anything that within a certain price point. And so we were like upset we didn't get the Disney plane. Now I would have been upset if we did have the Disney plane and we would have been eating this stuff. We
were riding home and I was talking to Mikael like, I think we can do this without the Disney dining plan to be okay. Because I'll go in depth in another episode, but with the dining plan, you're tied into your dining reservations. Without the dining plan, you eat what you want to eat, so you move how you want to move. We finished the parks early.
Yeah, we did.
Like often. And it made it enjoyable because you can go back, see the resort, spend some time there. The kids got to roam around. So the dining plan has its ups, but it also has its downs.
It does.
I think we got to weigh them a little more often now because we need to make sure, because we used to just go. We just get it and go. And now I don't know anymore.
Yeah, I even had to pull finally a cast member up because we went to the same restaurant a couple of times because the food at our resort at the Three Bridges
was hitting.
It was very, very good. So I pulled up our waiter and I was like, people just like changing jobs or something, because even you would see a lot of groups of supervisors just around, like huddled around talking and stuff like that. And he was like, people are just being shuffled wherever the need is now. So you might take somebody that is specialized or trained to do this, and now you're taking them and putting them at the pool to be a lifeguard, or you're putting them in this particular restaurant when they might be at a tequila bar or whatever. So it was just a different feel. And they had called back everyone that wanted to come back to Disney. So I think some people just did not want to come back. Some people forget it. And they're removing a lot of perks from the cast members. So I don't blame them. But it just was overall a different feel. However, would we go back? Yes. We're absolutely we were on vacation, planning another vacation to go back there in a year or so. Because there are a lot of new things that are coming out, and with the rides and experiences that we had this past time, we want to go back and see what the new stuff is all about. So we're definitely going back. But I just wanted to say that it didn't. A lot of people that we watch on YouTube will talk about things that are happening, but they don't really talk about the change or how things just don't quite feel the same. Because
they're still working to get Disney perks. And I don't mind some Disney perks. Look here, Disney. I don't mind the perks, but you got to give me the perks for telling the truth.
That is true.
And the one thing I want to piggyback on that, the guy was saying that when they brought people back, they put them back in any position they needed them. So to come back, you had to sign on for a year to work in a position of need, regardless to what it was you were trained to do. So he was like, I would just stop being a lifeguard Saturday. Right. And then they put me in the good restaurant, and then the clientele is down in the good restaurant, so they put me here. I said, so in 3 days, you worked 3 different jobs at 3 different places.
Right.
And that's kind of overwhelming for people. And leading up to the Disney 50-year anniversary, y'all got to figure it out soon.
I agree. So, Anthony.
Yo.
Santonio.
Yo.
What do you have for us today?
So, all right, listen, I'm putting it on me. She don't mind seeing the same thing she see all the time, FYI. Don't let people make you feel bad because you the same person that they always been the same person and thing. I don't know what I'm saying. Do I get you back? Are you ready? You close. Okay. I have nothing. I don't have a rant. I'm mellowed out. I'm rested. Reset and recharged. My kids had a good time. Seeing them smile gave me good energy. So I don't have a rant. Nobody's irritated me yet, but probably by next week I'll be back to normal. But this week, this is 2 weeks later. I'm still all right. So y'all be safe out there. Rona's still real. Heard the new variant is out there. So y'all be careful.
Speaking of them kids, this trip wore them out. And it very rarely is it to a point where they just shower and in the bed. But they was done. He was done. And I mean, and the one thing I forgot to mention, I'm sorry, wait times at this time of year was down so much.
Yes, they were.
That the kids got to get on rides multiple times. Like we just sat down and they would just go ride and we'd still be there. They'd come back and go ride again.
They took Cam on the Yeti 3 times.
Yes. And he even rode on the front.
And he didn't need a Yunchable.
So, I have a question.
Go for it.
I would like to know, what is your favorite vacation? And if you have gone back to your vacation post the start of the pandemic, and I don't want to say post pandemic because we're still in a pandemic.
Yeah.
But have things changed for you? We are planning to go cruising soon. And I'm so nervous about this because the experiences and what I'm used to, I don't know if that's what's going to be on board, which is another reason why we waited a bit on going back to Disney. But tell me, what is your favorite vacation? Hashtag that thing in the comment section below. And if you've been to Disney or any of the Disney parks or resorts or anything, what was your experience like while you were there? Hit them comment section. Or if you're planning to go on a Disney trip, hit the comment section below and tell us. And Disney is not just for kids. So we'll get into the adult side at another time.
And she saw the same thing in the adult side too. That was a great episode.
was.
With that,
It was a great episode.
I'm Ant.
And I'm Makia.
And thanks for stopping by to talk some issues today.
Bye.